Major injury update as Ryan Day reveals the return of a very important defensive player while also revealing what exactly Julian Sayin has to do to beat Washington, which would end their 22-game home winning streak, which is absolutely insane. And we got to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Columbus Football 365. If you are an Ohio State Buckeye football fan, hit that subscribe button. Let's jump into the news for today. Coming from Ryan Day, head coach himself, he said Lorenzo Styles Jr. is ready to go against Washington and has had a great week of practice. This coming from the 11 Warriors. Now, you may be asking, just for the people who don't know who Lorenzo Styles Jr. is, he is the brother of a name you're probably more used to hearing when watching Ohio State football games, Sonny Styles. Lorenzo Styles transferred in from Notre Dame. He's a cornerback. If we take a look at what his stats look like, the man stands an impressive 6'1", weighs 195 pounds, only 10 tackles so far without a pass defended or an interception. That's because pretty new season, hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities to run up stats yet. Also, he was injured, and that's why, the stats aren't amazing yet, but trust me, this guy is a baller, and he's someone that we need back on our defense after watching Denzel Burke, one of our best corners, or arguably our best corner, not according to me, but according to many people, Denzel Burke, our number one corner, leaving in the NFL draft last year. You got to find a way to replace him, and Lorenzo Styles, from what we saw from him, looked like a very, very good replacement. Looked like someone who can step into that role and play very good defense on what has so far been one of the best defenses in all of college football. If we were talking about just passing defense, if I can pull up and find my stats here, Ohio State currently, yards allowed per game, passing-wise, number 6 in all of the FBS schools. UCF, Louisville, Alabama, James Madison, Nebraska above us, but none of those teams saw what we believe is still as talented an offense as Texas. The jury is still kind of out on how good Arch Manning really is. I think he's at least good. Some people are going to argue against me, and I guess you can make that argument because he hasn't looked very good so far, but what Ohio State has seen defensively in the pass game, we've been able to shut it down, not even averaging 125 games passing versus the Ohio State Buckeyes. That is very, very good. Exactly what you're looking for, especially when we are facing in Washington a quarterback tandem like DeMond Williams Jr. and Denzel Boston, who is currently their number one wide receiver, is a wide receiver who's being mocked in what I've seen the end of the first round, but still the first round of NFL mock drafts coming in 2026. So Denzel Boston is absolutely someone that we cannot forget about, and someone we have to make sure that our cornerbacks are healthy and ready to play against. Now, in the opening game, I mentioned with this game coming up, there was something that Julian Sayin had to do, and Ryan Day, in his interview, he said, "Great environment about Husky Stadium. I've never been, but can't wait to go." Ryan Day noted that Washington has won 22 consecutive home games. That's absolutely insane. He said the Buckeyes know they must win games in tough environments to achieve success this season. He said, in order for us to reach our goals, we know we're going to have to go on the road and win games. Now, that's absolutely correct. The Ohio State Buckeyes, if they're going to win games, they are going to have to go on the road to win said games. And this stadium, the Washington Husky Stadium, it's really, really tough because a lot of people don't know they have one of the loudest stadiums in the sport. So Julian Sayin will be dealing with crowd noise. Their stadium holds over 70,000 people, which is larger than the Cincinnati Bengals Stadium, larger than a couple NFL stadiums, which is absolutely crazy for a college program. But if you're a program that is a proud program, you care about the team, you care about the program, you're gonna go out and put that type of money down and spend it on a massive stadium like that to support the Washington Huskies football team. Their decibel record in Husky Stadium is 133.6 decibels, which is the second loudest stadium in all of college football. The number one, I believe it was Neyland Stadium for the Tennessee Volunteers, holding over 100,000 people, but still very, very loud. And just like this article notes, Julian Sayin has not gone on the road yet. He hasn't played in a hostile environment, and that is the next step of his development if he's going to be a top quarterback in this league. You know, this league, you really could, I'm talking about the Big Ten, but you really could extend that all the way to FBS. Overall, quarterback play, a little bit down this year. So Julian Sayin, the door is absolutely open for him to be able to go through and have a very, very successful, sophomore season, his first time starting, have a very successful season. The door is, when you have a defense as strong as Ohio State, you're not going to have to do too much offensively. Just don't make that big mistake. Just continue to go through your development, do the little things right, and the big things will be coming down the road. When you're playing for Ohio State, especially, Ohio State has had great weapons over the last couple of years, but this year it's really different because Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate are one of the best duos that college football has ever seen. I know that's high praise. I'm not saying they're as good as Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson was, but if you remember, going back and watching those LSU teams, Justin Jefferson wasn't this all-world talent when it came to college football. Like when he was at LSU, you knew Jamar Chase was the superstar, and just like we know Jeremiah Smith is the superstar, and whoever you think's a better prospect between those two, I'm not going to argue it right now, but you can pick one. But then Carnell Tate really isn't that far off from where Justin Jefferson was. Justin Jefferson was picked 21st overall in the NFL draft that year, so he wasn't an elite prospect the way Jeremiah Smith and Jamar Chase were. So I really do think, in terms of all-time college football duos, I think Jeremiah Smith is just so good that even when Carnell Tate is going to be like a day two guy, I think it's going to be a high second-round pick, he's still going to be one of those best wide receiver duos of all time. And when you are playing with a duo like that, Julian Sayin doesn't have to do everything himself. He still has, Kazmarek is back off an injury, and Max Clare, the tight end, who I think is a very, very talented player. I would, even like to see Clare get some run over Kazmarek, but we're going to see what Ryan Day elects to do going forwards. Absolutely have full faith in what Ryan Day has done with this personnel grouping so far and what he's going to do going forwards. But just thinking about this matchup, the Ohio State pass defense has to make sure they are absolutely on full alert, and Julian Sayin has to make sure that he is not trying to do too much. Just, I don't want to say be a game manager because that has such a negative connotation in the current landscape of football in general. It's not just a college football thing. It's an NFL thing as well. People hate the term game manager, and it's really casuals that hate the term game manager. So if you are someone who hates the term game manager, you're probably a casual. That's how it works, because a game manager is not a bad quarterback. A game manager is a quarterback who plays within the confines of the offense. But if you have a great play caller and great schemer calling your offense, like we have in Brian Hartline, then being able to manage that game plan is still impressive. It's still tough to do. There are high-level offensive coordinators who call offenses that are difficult for the quarterback to run, and you need a high-level game manager. It's not even like quotations. You need a high-level game manager to run these top offenses, and there's nothing wrong with that. I really want to hammer home the point that right now, Julian Sayin is a game manager, and there is nothing wrong with that. It's where he is in his development, and we are going to embrace that. And this team is still good enough to repeat as national champions with Julian Sayin not being a finished product. And if we can do that with Julian Sayin this year, what is even capable when he reaches his peak in the future? I can't wait, but I'm getting a little bit over my, getting a little ahead of my skis right now. Right now, it's on to Washington. Very loud stadium, something that when Sayin's on offense, he has not experienced yet. So he's going to have to learn. They're going to go to some sort of silent count, some sort of count that doesn't have to do with clapping or shouting, anything that the center would hear, because it should be too loud for that to happen unless Ohio State is able to come out, punch him in the mouth, and take the crowd out of it immediately. But you have to imagine this monstrously sized stadium is going to be somewhat close to a sellout of around 70,000 people, and they're all going to be doing everything that they can to help their beloved Washington Huskies pull off the upset versus the #1 team in the country, big bad Ohio State. But love to have Lorenzo Styles back. Can't wait to see the way that Julian Sayin is able to handle this, no doubt, chaotic environment when it comes to Saturday. Let's do it. Thank you for watching the video. If you watched it for this long, hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Buckeyes.